to the next level.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Coach Tiffany Parra, Editor-in-Chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. Today, we have a special live with our December Spotlight girl, and she is our cover girl. Man, y'all seen this woman all over the place, and I'm going to tell you, I'm so proud of her and her just fitness game and her health game. I'm gonna go ahead and bring her on in. Oh my gosh, what's going on, Marissa?
Hey!
Oh, I'm so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for gracing our cover, the PFF cover for December. Man, look, y'all, this right here. This is the reason why. This right here. This is our editor-in-chief, okay, of Own It Magazine and Publishing. She is the reason why I do what I do with Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine. She helped me to really just birth this baby, and we have been here now to just serve you all with wonderful and magnificent health and wellness information, tips, tools, tricks, all that good stuff for the last now 4 years. So Marissa, please just share a little bit about, I know I just shared a little bit, but share a little bit more about just who you are and a little bit about Own It.
Well, it's such an honor to be on your cover this month. And what a time to be on your cover. That's celebrating 4 years. Own It itself is celebrating 5 years. We'll be doing a huge celebration this May 1st to the 4th here in the Dominican Republic. We're going to be doing Own It X, which is a live international speaking platform. Birthed out of some things that we got some no's in. And so you know how I am. We know how to navigate around the nose and get a yes. And that yes became Own It X. And so we're doing a live international speaking event. That's going to be our second speaking of magazine and publishing in the DR. We're excited to do that. We're excited to celebrate 5 years. Many of our contributing writers for Own It, specifically you, many of our magazines, some of them didn't make it. Some of them did not continue. We still stay connected to all of them who launched magazines under Own It. But listen, I always say to you, your why must make you high. You have to know that this is what you're purposed and called to do. And the magazine really a consistent platform and visibility to continue to show up, and show out is what I say, and own it. And so, Tiffany, I really want to give you your kudos because you came right up under me. It was me going out the gate and then you coming right up under me and then staying the course, and seeing what this can really do for your business. And really do for you and your own visibility, for you to be visible out there to the public, and then level of visibility to those who are willing to take the chance and the opportunity and see the opportunity. Physical fitness is very important to me as an editor-in-chief and CEO of my own magazine, as a mom of women. I have 2 daughters. I have a daughter who's 37, believe it or not, and 32. My granddaughter is 14. Physical fitness is very important to me. I started off as a little girl flipping all over the place. So as a young person and in high school, I was a gymnast. I was on Goodwin Tumblr. And then we, in Goodwin Tumblers, we actually participated in the Junior Olympics. And so I participated flipping, backflips, and all of that other stuff. And so, it's just, this is a part of we don't become professionals and lose that.
Right.
We need to know how to combine so that we stay healthy. That's so important for me and has been a part of my journey, consistently trying to watch, from where I came to where I am today. And to be in pursuit of those things that are going to help me to stay healthy and wealthy in physical fitness. And so this has been, and we're getting ready to do some retreats here in the DR, a regular basis. We have one that's coming up in March, and it's a retreat, reframe, and reset. So that is very important for us to do that. We partnered up with Dr. Reed, Dr. Stephanie Reed, Your Healing Hands. And so really excited about that's coming up in March as well. So it's all about self-care and self-love and preservation so that you can do all of these things like your business and advancing your career. You can't do all of that if you're not staying healthy. You can't sustain it if you're not staying healthy.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And it'll creep up on you. Me coming out of a chaotic, corporate environment, right? Where it was really weighing on me. And I didn't even realize it until it really, really hit, where now I'm having panic attacks and I'm having this and that and all these different, health issues going on when I should have just and really been able to hone in on more of my health. And at that time it was more of the mental health and more of that, like you just said, that self-care, learning how to reset, because people don't know how to reset. They get caught up in that hamster wheel, they're just letting everything just fly by. Life's just flying by day after day, but they're in pain, they're hurting, but they're oh well, that's okay. Yeah. And it's just bad. I mean, there's things that we can do. I mean, I'm watching you out there, all in the gym and just really, lifting the weights and doing the cardio, and that right there, helps with depleting inflammation in the body, which causes that pain. It helps, to, really make your heart have a little fun, right? Elevate that heart rate and things like that. Make your body work, because regardless of what age we are, our body wants to work.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It wants to feel alive. It wants to feel alive. And you know what? It's interesting because in moving to the Dominican Republic, all I could think about as an American on the East Coast was that the weather is going to be warmer. So I have 3 herniated discs in my neck and 3 herniated discs in my lower back. So when it's humid or cold, my body would always go into, I would be in a lot of pain. And I'm not one to take medications because, you listen to people, I'm 56 years old. You listen to people and they will tell you they're taking this pain medication, they're taking this, and then that pain medication is doing something else to the body. So now not only do you have to deal with your back injury, feeling uncomfortable, now you got to deal with all the other stuff. I just have never been one to take medication like that. Don't like it. I don't like feeling groggy. So I'd rather deal with the pain, be uncomfortable, so that I could be alert and do the work and get busy with doing the work that I have. I wanted to address, we think that we go to another place. We think that the grass is greener on the other side. When I came to the DR, my body went under attack. This is a new environment, new climate. It's not just about being hot. It's about the difference in the humidity level, right?
Yeah.
The difference in the way that heat shows up, that the sun shows up here in the DR. It's different in the East Coast of the United States. So I had to, when I got up in the morning, my hands would be like this, and I never with arthritis, but I'm telling you, the symptoms were like arthritis, and my back was hurting even more. So I'm saying to myself, was this a smart move to come to the Dominican Republic? I'm like, what the heck? But what it is that I pay pay attention to my body. And that's something that Own It is big on. Self-awareness, self-development, self-mastery, know thyself. And we have to, instead of going into panic mode, in quick fix mode, we have to assess, we have to observe and see what's going on. When I wake up, I actually combine prayer because I'm crazy for Jesus. So I'm combining prayer, but he says faith without works is dead. So you need to know what you need to do in the natural. Praying is spiritual, but there's a combination that has to be in play. There's an ingredient. It's the natural plus the supernatural, right? So you have to put the spirit with the natural, right? So God actually listen to one, pay attention to my body, and then let God lead me into where I should go. So he led me to you, he led me to Jeffrey. The lebanon is what killed that feeling of arthritis. Not only did it kill that feeling of arthritis, it also killed the hot flashes. Remember, I said to you, the happy juice, the lebanon, all of those things started working together and giving my body the nutrients. That's the deal. So the lebanon is that superfood. It's the nutrients that we are vegetables in our foods, depending on where you are. Even here in the Dominican Republic, although it's a lot is right from the how they say it, from the farm to the table, even though it still is, it's how nutritious is still the land itself, the soil by which things are coming up. That's still a challenge. And then navigating through what's available in a foreign country, another location. And so getting that together, I am not a vegetarian, but I don't eat a lot of meat. I'm busy because meats take time to prep. I'm busy. So it's not that I'm a vegetarian, but I do eat more beans. I do eat rice. And I like the rice because it thickens me up, right? Because if I eat too much lettuce, greens, and things like that, I've already been down that road. I get tiny like that. I get real tiny. I'm real slender. I want to keep my hips, and I also want to keep some robustness in my body because 6 is a lot. So when you start losing all of that, you talk about your breasts, you talk about your all those little juicy areas that make you feel sexy. They start to lose their being what is voluptuous. They start losing that. But you don't have to, Tiffany. That's one thing that as a leader, as one who wants to inspire people to not go quietly into the night and accept it. I don't have to accept my kids having terrible twos. I didn't. I said no terrible twos. I'm not dealing with bratty kids. I'm not dealing with you throwing a temper tantrum at me in front at the wrong time. Because sometimes I had to take my kids to work with me. You're not gonna act like a fool at my job. So I did not accept terrible twos. I had one major incident when my kids were teens, but my kids were not always on the phone. I didn't have my kids talking back to me and all that other craziness that women go with their daughters.
Right.
I'm accepting that. I was not accepting that. And because I have that personality, I don't accept things that I don't want. If I am not wanting this, then I'm going to figure out how do I navigate? How do I find out so that I don't have to experience that? So the lebanon, me crying out, saying, hey, Lord, this is not my portion. Waking up, being feeling almost crippled and having to talk myself out of the bed.
Right.
To get up and to do things. That's not my portion. And so evident. And then we talked about the elasticity of the skin. We lose elasticity of the skin. And so the anti-cellulite, I got a product online on Amazon. It's called the M3 Naturals Anti-Cellulite Massage Oil. It's infused with collagen, stem cell infused, grapeseed, eucalyptus, lemon, and grapefruit oils. Nice. And so that's how I'm telling you, because I felt my skin, I was like, wait a minute, is this like loose and thin? This is not unacceptable. Like, I was like, oh my God, I feel like, oh, you know, no offense to my older people, but I'm like, I'm not ready to feel like, and this has nothing to do with trying to be young.
Right.
My personality, I don't want that yet. Now I have gray hairs. They can come in all day long. I want them gray hairs to just pop. I love it because that's wisdom. That's not me. So I began to look at different products that were out there and said, I need to test these things out to see. And that particular is M3 Naturals Anti-Cellulite Massage Oil. And I found it on Amazon.
Okay.
So if you put that information in, it should come up. It is collagen and stem cell infused. And that tightened my skin up. Big difference. I put it all up on my neck. I'll even put it right here. And pretty much that's it for me. I don't really, other than that, I don't really use anything. I take biotin. I take ashwagandha, which
I love ashwagandha. Oh.
Ashwagandha helps me to be clear and focused.
Yes. And it elevates the mood. It elevates the mood.
It does. I surround myself with lavender. So all day I spray a nice, and it's got to be that spa quality.
Yeah.
That lavender that you smell when they put it under your nose when you're getting your massage and everything like that. So I have the lavender that's sprayed all over my linen. I love it because it does do a calming for you. So those are the things that I use. I also use a product from Envision You. They're coming out with a collagen, so I'm going to start using that collagen. They have a product called Alive that helps me maintain my consistently without feeling like an energy shot or whatever. And it's also promotes it helps with your minerals. So some of the minerals that you're not taking, it helps to take care of that. You don't have to figure all of that out.
Nice.
Because sometimes we're looking at specifics, right? We're looking at melanin. We're looking at vitamin D or vitamin C. You can't keep up with all of that. You need a product that is a superfood that handles all your greens. You need a product like Alive that has all your minerals and things like that. Because we can't keep up with all of this. We're going to be taking a lot of this and then not enough of that. So when you have these products that already encapsulates all of what you need, and you don't have to figure that all out, you can figure out what you want to do with your day. You can figure out what you want to do with your new projects. You don't have to figure out your health side. You know that those things are managing your health. So the company, Tiffany and I do Levited. And then the other company is Envision You, which is a product line that I use for fitness and minerals and things like that. And then the other thing, like I said, is the biotin. I take that for my nail and my hair. That has helped tremendously for me in those areas. And like I said, getting in the gym. And I do weights. I walk to the gym, which is about maybe a 15 to 20 minute walk from where I live. That's my right. And it forces me to get that cardio in. And then I also will walk back from the gym, especially if I'm in a place where I need to, especially coming back from the US, because I always put pounds on when I go to the US. Coming back from the US, I have to, because I have to get all of that weight. And stress is a major part of that. Stress is not something that we always see or feel like we're under, but we are, especially when you're traveling, when you're getting on that plane, luggage. What am I taking? Not going to take. That's stress, right? Especially when you're managing being busy like we are with all the stuff that we do. So you're trying to figure out, what do I need? And especially when you're traveling a long distance, you being on the West Coast, having to travel here over to the DR or anywhere, on the other side of the US, that's travel for you. So you got flight time, you got connecting flights that you have to deal with. You have to deal with delays. You have to deal. That's all stress. So by the time we get to our location, our body is like, store up everything because we don't know what the freaking heck is going on here. So it tells you to hold all of the nutrients so that if you have to go into a place of starving or you have to go into a place where you don't have, that there's enough on your body for it to have longevity, to live out this crisis, because we actually are putting ourselves in crisis when we travel. Right. I don't care what nobody else says. We are putting ourselves in crisis.
Like, you just got to learn how to breathe through it.
Yep, you are. You're putting it, and then when you recognize that, then now you understand why your body is behaving, why sometimes you swell up when you come off of a flight, you're swole. Because of what you've been eating, had salt intake, sugar intake, that swells you up and things like that. And just being self-aware, watch and pay attention to your body and what you're doing and putting your body through. I think it's critically important. And that's what Own It is all about. That's why when I was like, no, I got to show them physical fitness. I said, I can come on as a professional. But we got to tell people that you don't have to accept obesity. You don't have to. You just have to be willing to love yourself enough to say no to some things and to say yes to some new things.
Do the work. It's all about doing the work, show up for yourself and do the work. And when you do feel stress, you do learn how to manage that stress. Like, I know going back and forth and doing a lot of travel, I can't stand flying, so I've learned to incorporate tapping into every trip, so that does keep my, stress level at a minimum. And it's so crazy because when you were mentioning how, you swell and all that kind of stuff, I've noticed that since I incorporated the tapping and really just stopping and, Teresa reminds us about, like the heart, right? And like listening to the heart. And I've been like listening to the heart rate, keeping it down, really focused on it and being very intentional. And I noticed the ankles haven't swelled the last couple of trips, things like that. And I feel better, when you're tensed up, when you're traveling and stuff. I mean, that's why you're so sore at the end, because you've been so tense and you finally get a chance to breathe, so yeah.
And I'm a homebody. I prefer to be at home. I don't, people think, oh, you look young, you got all this energy, things like that. But I prefer to be home. I love to cook. I love to cook for people. So I love being home and traveling. While it's not stressful in the sense, I would like to just be able to go like this and be where I'm
right.
If we can do that, I travel all over. I'm like, oh, where are we going? We're going. It's all of this. Take your shoes on. Take your shoes off. Take your shoes off. Who put the shoes on back on? What we doing today? Airports, some airports are different. Put all your technology here. And one thing, no, don't put your technology in there. Put your bag. Take your shirt off. Take your like, what the freak? And they're rude. They're rude to you. They're rude. They treat you like you're a criminal. And it's just like, okay.
Come on.
And you have to not respond to them because you run the risk of not being able to fly.
Right. Well, you don't want to be put on the do not.
Stop talking to me like I'm an idiot. So I love to be home. I'm a home body. I am a home body, and I love being at home.
Now, you are, you're running 2 different companies. You are doing retreats. You're a mom. You're a grandma. You're a friend. You're a mentor. You do a lot. How do you balance it? Really, please share, because I know there's a lot of people out there that can barely balance 2 things, and you're balancing so much more than that. So how do you find the balance in it all?
So one, I believe that I'm wired to do this. I believe that I'm wired to do everything that I do. And another thing, I took for granted that I do so much, because to me, I don't do enough, right? So to me, I'm not getting enough done in a day. To me, I'm not helping enough people, not making enough impact. I need to do more. I need to figure out how to be more efficient, to streamline the process, hand off responsibility. And that's a challenge for someone like me, who my mind thinks in a different way from the average person, right? So I'm already boom, 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 boom. When you tell me something, I'm like, okay, because if we have one-on-one conversations, Tiffany, I'm saying, looking at blah, 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 blah. Did you think about this? And let's add this to that. Because I said to you, hey, after this, we need to have a strategy session, because we need to make sure that you're on point for 2025. So I'm always thinking, I think very quickly. And I didn't realize that when I worked for someone else. The people that I worked with, I remember being at Princeton and having people say so much to me. We need you in the classrooms. Why are you in IT? We need you out here. Why are you're hidden over here, right? And so they didn't know that there was a method to my madness, that I'm just here at the university to finish up, I thought, my PhD. I still got to finish the PhD. This takes own it, and TCS just took off. So I still have, and believe it or not, I only have 5 classes left. Wow. I have only 5 classes left to finish in my doctorates, and it's okay.
That's right.
It was a challenge for me, but then I had to realize that if this is the pivot, then I got to go with the pivot. And so, and I did go with the pivot. And so I say to you, the reason I can handle the things that I handle is because it's who I am. It's who I am. It's how I'm wired, and I'm open to doing it. I'm willing to do it. And I believe that a lot of people, the reason why they struggle is because life's assignment. You're not in alignment with how you're wired. And I say to people, if you're the quiet storm, that means that you're quiet, you're meek, but not weak. You just have a different approach. Be that. Stop looking at people who are full of energy and charisma and try to be that, because that may not be what you are, and stop competing with it.
Yeah.
Own who you are. Who you are. And if you are the giant in the room, own that. Stop shrinking back. Stop shrinking back. Stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to find out who you are. And we talk a lot about it in It's Your Life, Own It, our live show. We talk about authenticity. Own who you are.
Absolutely.
Own who you are. Spend time by yourself. Figure it out. Figure out how to get away from the kids, get away from your man or your husband or your children. Get away from everybody.
All the distractions.
And get into that quiet space. And I'm thankful to my daughters who allow me to come to another country and to say, Mom, go ahead and do you. But I will say this. I tell my kids, listen, you need me, I'm on the next flight. Right. Your mama don't play. You need me, I'm here. So they know that even though I'm here, that if they need their mama, I can do things from here as well as I get there. But my kids know that, and they afford me that space. But you have to love yourself enough to say, if I want to show up, if I want to tap into and unleash my unlimited potential, that is best for me to do for everyone who's connected to me.
That's right.
So when my kids came here earlier this year, they got to see their mom. They got to see their mom with the Own It. They got to see me do a lot of stuff under stress, because people come to compete.
Right.
I'm not coming to compete. I'm coming to complete. I'm going to completely help you do what you want to do.
That's right.
And so they got to see me navigate through different personalities and still be the leader and show up the way that God has called me to show up and serve, not to who is right, but to show up for everyone.
That's right.
Even when sometimes in leadership you feel like you don't want to show up, God has called you to show up for those people too. You got to show up for them as well. And so I just say, take time to know thyself. And when you get ready to know yourself, you'll begin to identify boundaries. You'll begin to see what's negotiable for you and what's a non-negotiable. And the more that you spend time with yourself and getting in alignment, the more and more you will clearly define what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And you'll refuse to compromise. You'll refuse to compromise because now you know the cost. That if I compromise this, it's going to cost me that.
Right.
You'll know that, and you won't compromise it anymore. But I say the biggest thing that people stop running from yourself. So many people in their insecurities and their inadequacies will put a bunch of people around them to make them feel better. No, whatever makes you feel uncomfortable or feeling inadequate, deal with it. I like This Christmas, because the girl at the sisters are at odds. If you ever watched the movie This Christmas, the girls there's one scene I like when the brother gets into trouble. He's in the military, he goes AWOL, whatever, and they bring the brother's wife home. Have you ever seen This Christmas?
Yeah, I have. Yep.
Okay. I like where Regina pouring her, I don't know what she's pouring, but the sister said, this is not funny. She says, it's not, but I'm going to keep drinking until it is. I love that part. But what the sisters come to, Regina's husband is cheating, doing whatever, and the other sister is saying, like, she says, I don't know what's going on with you. She says, but it's time for you to deal with the issues in your life. Deal with the issues in your life. Stop running and blaming and figure. Get by yourself and deal. And the minute you start getting real with you, you'll start getting real with everybody else.
That's right.
Because you'll buck back people who give you a hard time. You'll buck back people who call you out of who you really are. You'll buck them back. That's not who I am, but if that's how you see me, by all means, you have the right to see me in any light that you desire. But if that's not me, I'm not accepting that. I'm not allowing you to put that on me. So you can push all of that right back to yourself. Don't take time to get to know yourself. And if we don't teach our young people to do the same thing, for them I used to tell my daughters, I said, don't you dare let them pressure you. You pressure your peers. You don't succumb to peer pressure. You pressure you. You know who you are. You are a leader of yourself first, and then you become a leader of others. You do not allow people, don't be no follower. And my kids know. I was a young mother, and I came to those schools. I dropped my kids off, and I'll let you know, this one here is mine.
Right.
And if she doesn't got no business doing, I'm on her. But if you do something to her, I'm on you. Right. But we have to teach our young people that we love them so that they don't grow up to be inadequate, insufficient, insecure adults.
Right. Absolutely.
Because somewhere along the line, if we're adults, I'm 56, I see some behavior in our generation that you're younger than me. So I see some people in my generation, 50, 60 and above, that this foolishness.
Right. Yeah.
On, and we're modeling this and we're demonstrating this in front of the next generation. And then we're wondering what's wrong with our society. We're wondering what is wrong with our society, and it's how are we showing up? So that's why it's so critically important for us to get us right, because we, in fact, influence others to follow us in this mess. And this mess. So that's why y'all got to come to the retreat. You got to come away from your people. You got to come. You got to refresh, you got to retreat. You got to get out of kindred. And then you got to refresh and reset and get yourself back to, get away and then come back. It's so important. And I say you shouldn't come to one retreat. You need to come to 2 in a year.
Right.
You need to budget yourself. Yeah, you do, because you need to do it at the top of the year and at the end of the year so that you can get yourself prepared. It's so important.
Yeah. No, it's so important. You're absolutely right. And I mean, that reset is everything. Because when you go into the next year with all that stuff still crazy, it doesn't start out right. You're gonna see it as you're showing up. And you know what, Marissa, when you're talking about like us, modeling for the next generation, that is so crucial and critical. And I have to I gotta be a little bit of a bragging mom right now, because I got a letter from my son who is now in the Navy. He's going through, boot camp. And he says, every time that I'm thinking about giving up, you know what, I ask myself, would mom give up? And he's talking about as they're getting punished and they're having to do push-ups and all these different things. And he's like, because I know that as you've been going through your journey, you haven't given up. You still show up at the gym. You still are doing these things. Even when my back was injured, I was still showing up for myself. So that shows him, just show up. And you know what? Don't give up. Don't give up. You'll get through it. You'll get through it. And even the way he's eating, this kid of mine, I mean, he's not a kid, he's a young man, but he's gained over 20 pounds in a few, in a few weeks. And it's just like, what? And I'm like, well, how? And he's like, Mom, when you were telling me I need to do this much protein, I need to do this, that, and X, Y, Z, and this, you told me that when I was training before as an athlete in high school. And I didn't get it back then, but I get it now. And I'm like, wow. So they are listening to us. And if
they are
bad habits, they're going to do bad habits. If that's what we're showing them, they're going to mirror those bad habits. So we have to tap into, even if you don't want to go to the gym, just get out, take a walk, do different things, stretch, show them that you're trying to really, work on your well-being and work on,
There's so many apps that you could just sit right in your place and do like
exactly.
And then there's no excuse. And then here, and then your knee up. Come on, there's no excuse. I got weights right here.
Yeah.
To the gym. I'm here.
Yep.
Right here at my desk. And I'm like,
that's it. You need some hand weights. Maybe get
them in there.
Band. You can put the resistance bands on your knees while you're sitting here at your computer. Or on your ankle.
And then it helps with longevity. So you don't even realize that by not moving your body,
right,
you're decreasing your ability to sustain, right?
Absolutely.
But when you work out, you may need to take a nap. Because 56, honey, I come from the gym sometimes. It's like nap time. I'm taking a nap. But when I get up, I already know that I'm coming with clarity.
Yeah.
I'm coming with full energy. I'm ready to do it. And I always say, take a shower.
Yeah.
People take for granted, they get up, wash up real quick. No, when you take a full shower, you wake up every cell in your body.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up. And when you wake up, you come and you're ready to do the work that's necessary. Not
That's
taking
right.
a shower, thinking, getting up from the bed to the job to the whatever, and you're not taking the time to do certain things. You are cutting away from.
Yeah.
You're cutting away from your longevity, your sustainability, your endurance. You're running away, and then you're running why you're sick.
Right. And then take a cold shower. Like if you take a cold shower, I mean, there's a lot of tips. Take that cold shower. Now, believe me, I like a hot shower. Okay. Sometimes
me too, honey, but not here in the DR.
But I mean, when I was in the DR the last time, I was taking cold showers.
You gotta take a shower.
And take that cold shower, and it felt so good. And honestly, it was like I was more awake. I was more alert. And it opens up the circulatory system. It kind of jolts that heart awake. I mean, it is so much magic in that. I mean, you hear people doing all these cold dips and all these different things right now. It's great for the skin and just, that cold shower. Oh, man.
honey.
Yeah.
You know what I do? I don't let because I'm like you. I like a hot shower. I don't care how hot it is outside. I need a hot shower. But unfortunately, here in Dominican land, you can be teased with a hot shower, but you cannot rely on having a hot shower because they have come in and put a different unit in here. Last gone. So I had to mentally, some things we don't realize that we must do in our mind,
Right.
and own it in our heart. I said this right here, this section right here is critical. You need your mind and heart to align and agree, right? You have to prepare your mind to say, give up on if you're going to be somewhere traveling, because I say it all the time, if you're traveling internationally, it's not the US. All the preppy little, you can't be a premium
right
international. You gotta get past all of that, or you're not going to fully enjoy what's here. And so you have to I had to mentally say, Marissa, you got to take a cold shower. You got to get past the cold shower thing, right? You got to let that go. You just got to own that you're going to take cold showers. So once I accepted that, now I can do it because I owned it. Yeah, I owned it.
No more, right?
It doesn't matter because I can't get. What's the point of crying about, crying over, how they say, crying over spilled milk? You just go back in the fridge and get some more milk. And if there ain't no milk, go to the store and get some. That's it. Call it a day and be over with it. But we've got to whom much is given, much is required. And we don't do what we do as editor-in-chiefs, owning our magazines and running our magazines. This is not about us. This is about all the people that we feature, the professionals, their business. It's about them.
Right. Absolutely. It is.
And provoking them to show up for their business. Don't just put your stuff in. Show up for your business. Share the magazine. I always say that. I said, I can tell who's seeing the magazine and who's not. I can see who's promoting. I can see that. And so what we do is not about us anymore. But it is our responsibility to share transparently how we get to places of success. Right. How do we do this? How are we? And that's huge for him because as parents, we have to realize that our kids may not listen to us today.
Right.
But what we show them and what we share with them and what we give to our children is like seeds that go into the ground. Yeah. They're small when they go in. But as our kids get older and older and more mature and more experienced in life, we'll begin to see the harvest that our labor to raise our children was not in vain, but we'll begin to see the harvest. Right. Some things, and they'll grow in their level of empathy towards us, and they'll get it. They'll start to say, oh, Ma, I didn't even realize that. My kids were like, Ma, you ain't let us do blah, blah, blah. You're darn right, because you shouldn't be doing that. You're not watching Maruissa and the boys talking about her big booties. You're going to watch Commander Kelly and the Super Kids who are talking about how God brought them through and how they were so victorious in the Lord. I'd rather you have that than you have exposure to love relationships where you don't need to be having sex. You don't need to be, intrigued with boys, or the whole conversation is about your booty. Like, what? No. So they were upset with me at first, right? Because they thought I was trying to hide something from them. No, as parents, it's our job to protect our children.
That's right.
Whether they like it or not, whether it feels good or not. And when they are old, the Bible says, train up a child in the way that they should go. And when they are old, they will not depart from it, because you have sown a seed that has gone deeply into the ground and laid a foundation that's unshakable. So we may get upset in the moment that, oh God, why don't they get it? Don't worry about whether they get it or not. You know that you did the right thing, and it's not comfortable for you or them right there. But that's all good, because it's going to work out for the greater good in the long run. That's why I'll say this month is about reflecting and projecting, because you want to look back, you want to measure over what you've done. Measure your performance. Measure how things come, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. Yeah. Celebrate your victories. Learn from your losses, right? So learn from those, but project into the coming year all of that you reflected on. Now, what are you going to do for the coming year? And I do that from August all the way up to the end of the year. I begin to say, what has happened and where do I want season? That's where the birthing of the retreats came from. It was like, people are talking about mental health, being stressed out, putting themselves last all the time. And this is women and men. This is not just women who are putting themselves last. Men are putting themselves last. People put themselves last. I'm not gender biased at all, because I see men cheat and I see women cheat. I see men that are selfish, but I also see women who are selfish. Right. So it's not gender assigned. It's people and personality.
Right.
I said, with all of this, people stressing the heck out, we need them to come and tranquilla here in the DR.
Come on. Look, I know, coming from California, the first time I came to visit, and I mean, that right there was my deciding moment, just coming that one time and then coming back again, it was like, oh my gosh, like, it is just.
And now you're coming to live.
Right. And you feel the difference. You feel the energy shift. When I land in LA, I feel stressed. I feel the, the heaviness. And people need to be able to just detach and just decompress, because if you don't find that time to decompress, you'll see it in your relationships. You'll see it in your body. You'll see it in every aspect of your life. Even your finances. That's why with Phoenix Fitness Fanatics, looking at getting you physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially fit, because everything runs hand in hand, right? Finding that balance in the mind, body, and spirit. You have to. And I think that's why these retreats are just so vital, because you need to come back to that. You have to come back to, that foundation again, and just be able to say, okay, all right. And even if that may be that moment where, maybe you're trying to write a book. You're trying to pivot from the corporate rigmarole to your dream, right? You want to do that. This is going to help you to find that clarity. Because I know it helped me get clear on so many different things. Being able to be at the beach, and, I'm all about grounding. That is the thing, the grounding and the tapping and all those different things. And I'm a tree hugger. I say it all the time.
Oh, I have to do that. I have not done that in a long time.
You have to. I try to make that a daily occurrence for myself. And when you hug a tree, you really do feel the energy from that tree. And if you do that, consistently, just like you have to do everything consistently, right? You do that consistently, you're going to see an energy shift. You're going to see a whole different vibe in yourself, which is just amazing. So, doing these retreats, that helps you to tap into that. It helps you to get to the beach. It helps you to get around, beautiful forests and just trees. And even for myself, I cannot wait to be, able to facilitate some sound healing and PEMF and, all the different things that have really helped me to balance, because I have not always been, I have my moments, I can be a little up, little up there sometimes, we all can. But for me to be as calm, cool, and collected as I am today, it's amazing. I even drive different, It's wild how that happens, right? When you just put those different things in, and you have to take that in perspective, because when you're so up here, and when you're up here, your blood pressure is up here, your heart rate is up here. And that's when that silent killer comes in there, that high blood pressure, because that's gonna just wreak havoc in your body.
Yeah.
So when you come to these retreats, you're letting go of all of that. And we want to help you to just release it all, so you can come back a better version of yourself.
Yes.
So
Fresh.
Marissa, oh my goodness, look, the time goes by quick, and I was like, look, we just gonna get on real quick. We gonna talk about some things Marissa's
An
doing.
hour later.
For being on the cover and gracing us, and just again, I just cannot thank you enough for being such the leader who you are. You inspire me. There's times when I don't, I'm like, man, coach don't want to get up and go to the gym, but then I see your video because you're, some hours ahead of me. I'm like, all right, here I go.
Yeah.
So thank you for being that motivation, and just, keep on doing what you're doing, because you look absolutely amazing. I don't know if y'all caught her. She said her age a couple of times in this, okay? She looked like one of her daughter's ages, okay?
No, and I love it. I love being in this space. I love being this age, 56, because you should be. I have to say this more and more and more. You should be at this point in your life very, very grounded, very, very comfortable. I have a young guy who talks to me all the time, and I know it must baffle him that I am this age, because when I'm talking to him and trying to get him to see that the difference between someone who's in their 30s, someone's getting ready to be 60, because that's where I'm headed. I'm closer to the 60 than I am to the 50. And so there should be a huge difference in our calmness, because we should have seen enough to know enough.
Right.
And that's how I can respond, is that I've been around to see enough to know enough. And I think that it just boggles their minds. It's like, do you not remember? For me, it's, do you not remember what God did before? Why would you question what he would do now? There's no question to that. There's no question to that. But I want to use our last moments wisely and say that no matter how old you are or how young you are, it is the most important thing that you do is to seize the moment. And that season of the moment is to take center stage and own your life. Own your life. Don't accept. I remember in my 30s that I was accepting that, hey, in your 30s, you had children, you're going to be big, you're going to be heavy, you're going to be overweight. That is a lie from the pit of hell. And it wasn't until I met a childhood sweetheart, and I'll shout his Lance. I met him online, and I saw him. I was like, wait a minute, he's physically fit. I had already started. So I had already in 2009 made a decision that I was 185 pounds. And I said, well, I'm going to 200 pounds, because that's next. Because you always gain your weight in 15 pounds. By the time you realize you've gained weight, it's normally 15 pounds, right? That's when you start feeling the weight that you've gained. And so I said, well, 15, that's going to be 200 pounds. That cannot be 200 pounds. No way. And so my journey, I had already made a life decision that I was going to return to being a single woman. That was already done before I reconnected with him. But when I saw how physically fit he was, it echoed back to me to say, Marissa, you were a gymnast. How did you get so far from, your natural origin? Being physically fit. I was doing Russians where people were doing splits. I was doing Russians, flying Dutchmans. I did 20 from stand, just standing here, boom, boom. So how did I go from that? My partner. So when you partner with the wrong person and they can't handle who you were meant to be, they have a tendency to try to hold you back. They're not trying to hurt you. They're not. It's not a wicked, they on assignment to keep you. No. It's they love you, and they don't want to lose you. They don't want to lose a graph. They don't want you to go so big that they don't understand but it still holds you back, and it causes you to underperform. And you don't understand why you're underperforming because you're operating out of love. I love them. I'm not going to go. Love them. I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go. And so you underperform. But at the same time that you're loving them, and they do love you, you're still shrinking. Shrinking. But I had already gotten to a point where I made a major decision in my life. But that was the end of 2000 I was 185 pounds. By the time we got to June of 2010, I was 100 and I want to say 20 pounds. I dropped that weight so aggressively. And I was at that point 42 or 43. I don't even remember. But it was a time in which an age span, which they tell us it is the most difficult for women to lose weight. And that's a lie. And we believe all of these lies that we are told, so we would live an unfulfilled life. We would just settle, go quietly into the night. So what Own It is really about is being defiant and saying, no, oh hell no, I'm not going quietly into the night. And I don't want belly fat. I don't want the lower fat on my stomach. And I told my PT the other day, I said, I don't like this little roll that's right here, and it's got to come off, and it's coming off. I'm going to make it come off because I don't like it. And when that's my why makes me so hot, pissed off at it. I'm so upset with it that it's not acceptable, and I'm going to do what it takes to get it off. And that's it. So don't tell me that because I sit all day, I got to have a belly. Don't tell me because I'm past 40, I got to have a roll. I don't want that. So if I don't want it, I don't have to have it. But I do have to do what it takes to get it done. I do have to discipline myself enough to do what it takes to get it done. And so when you connect with Phoenix Fitness Magazine, when you connect with, when you come and participate in anything we do, this, just like those hugs of the trees, will rub off on you. But you got to stay the course. You got to stay committed. You can't come up and have a one-hit wonder. It doesn't work like that. It's not going to stay. So you have to connect with us and stay with us.
That's right. That's right.
You got to be willing to do the work that it takes. Many are called, but the chosen are few.
Right. Right.
So you got to do that. You got to have yourself to show up and show out. And as you do, as the head goes, as you are the leader, so does the body. So as you go and you're in alignment with your life's assignment, everyone, your family and all of that other stuff who really want it will align and they will go with you. That's what is important. It's not about you anymore. Once you get a reality check, and I say this to believers, Christians, once you get saved, it's not about you, honey. It's about everybody that God called you to for their salvation. So it's always about who we are called to serve. That if we get an alignment, that they'll get an alignment, and we'll be a blessing to be a blessing. Yeah. And so I just wanted to share that and say, listen, we're on a journey. Yeah. We are on a journey, and we have only just begun.
Well, this is the best second half, okay?
Right.
This is the best. So. Well, Marissa, if anybody out there wants to connect with you, they would like to work with you, they'd like to come on the Own It platform, how can they connect with you and be able to chat?
Well, you can just you can just find me on Facebook, message me in Messenger. I'm on Instagram, but I'm primarily on Facebook as it is now. We have a team that we've brought in, and prayerfully that'll all work out, and we'll be equally on all platforms. But I'm out there. Just Google Marissa Bloedoorn. If you Google my name, you'll find me. Just connect with me, email me, reach out to me. I'm pretty sure my emails, I'm pretty sure my social media, they're all there under Marissa Bloedoorn and Own It or TCS Consulting. So just Google my name and find me and connect with me, and let's get you going. If you're looking to publish a book, Tiffany and I both publish. We've both done multiple bestsellers on Amazon. If you want a speaking platform that you need to international, reach out to either one of us. She's connected to me, I'm connected to her. Reach out to either one of us and get connected and get started. You know, we are finishers, so we don't start something that we don't finish. So I know that a lot of times that I came into publishing, the publishing business, because so many people were working with people that didn't get them to the finish line. We're finishers. We're not about to drop the ball, not show up. Delay does not mean denial. But if you want to get done and you want to get focused and you want to have strategy, come on and let's get you started. Let's get you going. One thing we're not going to do is play games. So if you're ready to go, then you got to be ready to go. We're not entertaining those people who want to talk a good talk. We walk our talk. And so get in touch with us and get connected.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much, Marissa, for coming on. Again, this is Sunday, and I want you to be able to go back, enjoy the rest of your day on the island. I cannot wait to get there. I will be there. Look, I'm gonna be there very, very soon. Blink of an eye, really, just a couple of months.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Tap into us if you want to get involved with what we are doing. Again, you heard her say it, the retreats, the magazines, you want to be featured. You want to just, be part of a community where you are really going to feel like you belong, that you are supported, and then you are truly loved, and that we really do value who you are and what you're doing out there. So definitely tap into us. We love you so much, and we will see y'all next time. Have an amazing day. Take care.